Hello, everyone. Seems everyone's muted in case they didn't know.
Hey, Skip. It's Laura.
Hey, Laura. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
I resent out the link. I don't know what happened. I had signed in to email and, get
Yeah.
myself together here, and I just sent it out again. I don't know why. A couple people just seem to miss it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hopefully we got everybody.
I think it was because the link came from me instead of you, so they may not have noticed or had me on spam or something.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Sometimes if I get an email from an address I don't get often, that happens.
Right.
Well, even if they knew you, hon, they'd probably spam you. How you doing, Laura?
Good. How you doing, Betty?
I just get a kick out of your little chickies down there.
They're so awesome.
So when are you gonna have some eggs?
Well, they start laying around 3 to 4 months, but when they go into the fall and winter, they don't produce as much. So by the spring, they should really be, underway.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't I get to see everybody? I thought that was the point.
Yeah, when we start.
Okay.
I'm just finishing up dinner, so I didn't want
I'm
to.
gonna say I'm eating dinner.
Yeah.
All right, there. I'm outside.
Thanks.
Oh, look at that.
Your hair's adorable, Laura. I
Oh,
love
it's
it.
it's kind of just a mess. I'm a mess. I had an endoscopy and a colonoscopy yesterday, and
Yeah.
they kind of I think they messed up on my schedule because what the heck is that?
You're muted.
They told me my my instructions. I was supposed to start a clear diet as soon as I get up in the morning. And they told me that I was going to be first thing on Tuesday morning. So I was going to go 24 hours without eating, which I never had to go that long with a colonoscopy. But
No.
well, they called me on Monday at 1 p.m. to tell me I wasn't coming in until noon on Tuesday.
Oh, boy.
So I said to the woman, I said, do you realize I haven't eaten since 7 o'clock on Sunday? I'm like, this is ridiculous. I snuck a thin piece of pizza crust, like that during the day. I thought I was going to pass out. I'm like, so, yeah. And so I just, and then I get there and I had to wait 30 minutes. I'm in the waiting room. I'm like, what is going on? So they had some Black Lives Matter thing at the hospital. And the doctor wanted to go attend. And I was like, hey, that's cool. What's another hour without food? So it was just, I was like, okay. I'm glad that I was able to get something in today. It's kind of hard to eat after you know.
Yeah, it is.
It's like not only not eating, but, purging everything from your system at the same time. It's so I'm waiting for biopsy results. They actually, I wasn't surprised to hear that they found polyps. I've had a history, but I was surprised that they found a 20 millimeter polyp.
Wow.
Yeah. So, that's a little bothersome, but what are you going to do? You're going to hurry up and wait for results. So, it's been a fun couple of days.
Laura, you never disappoint because I click a Zoom link, screen pops open, and the first word I hear is colonoscopy.
Keeping it
That's
real here.
awesome. Oh my gosh. You're over 45 when?
If you know what that word means.
Well, and when you discuss it openly amongst your peers.
Yeah.
I had a friend say to me today, we were talking about it because he has diverticulitis issues and things, and we were talking about it. He goes, I think we're pretty comfortable with each other. We're talking about this. I said, or that we're, just that age.
We're old, yes.
We're there, yeah.
And they've done that a lot.
Start talking about the disease of the day.
Yep.
Yeah. and the medication that didn't work and did work. Oh gosh. Scary when you hear it come out of your mouth.
Click that.
What's that?
You are.
Cold.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Tony. Hi, Linda.
How you doing?
Who else is here? Good. We're talking about, colonoscopies and fun stuff.
A lot of fun stuff. Absolutely.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Shirley.
Hi.
Look at how much hair you have.
I know. All the curls. I can't even stand it. I know.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
A year ago, I had 0 hair.
I shaved mine once already, so
I
I'm behind
saw
you.
you.
Yeah.
I did that, but it grew back straight. I'm hoping, I've got so many curls from the chemo. I'm hoping it goes
I love it.
a little too curly. I haven't met you, Betty. Hi, Betty.
Hi,
No.
Shirley.
Hi.
Hey, Shirley.
Hi.
Oh, I don't have my camera on yet, do I?
There
No, you
go,
don't.
Chip. Yeah.
Ah,
Are you
there I
done
am.
eating?
Ah.
Pretty much. I am now.
I belong to him.
Fancy. That's good.
I belong to him.
I belong to her.
Together. Jerry, come over here so everybody can see who you go with.
So, Tony.
Check out and seeing everybody I drive by.
This is Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Hello.
Hey, Jerry.
That. See?
Okay.
Nicole got called into work, so you won't see either of them because Andy has to put the twins to bed.
So is that uneventful when mom's not home, or?
Well, seeing they both got lost their jobs, she was the first one to get one, and he's taken advantage of being home for a couple of months,
Yeah.
being full time while she's working. So it's really advantageous to figure out each other's, lifestyle. It's not
Yeah.
as easy as he thought it was going to be.
Well, that's why I ask. Is it? Yeah.
Especially with 4-year-old twins.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I had 4, and my 2 middle ones were 17 months apart, and one was colic and one was just hell on wheels. He was, people told me I should have used him for child safety testing, like I could have made money. But yeah, no, I remember the first night I went out. I had, went out just for 2 hours. That was it. And I wasn't gone from the house for half an hour before my phone was ringing off the hook. Where is this? What do I do about that? Like it's almost as if you haven't been here.
All righty. Well, I'm going to call this a quorum so we can get started.
We can't
We get to see you?
Skip.
Oh, sorry. I was off doing something and keep forgetting to turn my camera back on. It's probably because I'm breaking the camera. So, all right. Let me pull up the agenda here. Where is it?
So if people don't know, up in your upper right-hand corner, there is a button that's called Gallery, and that way you can see everybody
Ah.
instead of just who's talking.
Yeah, a bunch of little squares.
Yeah, what was that? What was that game?
Hollywood Squares.
Hollywood Squares.
The Brady Bunch.
North Side Road Squares.
Oh, the Brady Bunch, yeah. Let's don't sing the song.
Requesting his presence.
All right. Sharing. Can everyone see the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Cool. So I'm going to start with the introduction. Has everyone used Zoom or at least teleconferencing before?
Yes.
Anyone who hasn't? No? All right, good. Well, that was easy. Um, so it is possible to share screens in Zoom if you have documents, pictures, whatever. And that way we can show people what we're talking about and everything. So this is the agenda that Laura sent out. And I want this to be fairly free flowing, but if people start really going wild, we'll have to mute people and take you one at a time. Just so that we can actually get done. All right, so quick overview, which I said in there. The road's a mess. Everyone knows the road's a mess. The road's a mess. It's better than it was this spring, but it's still pretty bad. So what we're here to do is take the steps so that we can actually get this thing repaired. We don't want to come up with a full association and everything like that right now. However, the next thing that we do want to do is make it so people feel more involved and understand what's going on. So we're thinking about setting up a few committees, also to help out Laura so she isn't trying to do everything. And that way people on the road would know who to see about, for example, getting the road repaired or checking on plowing or finances or whatever. And we'll talk about that a little later. Because we have limited time, we're not gonna look at, we will probably take a quick look at it at the end of the meeting, but we're not gonna really look at creating a new association. And we're not gonna redefine how payment is made for this go round. When we come up with an actual association, we can deal with that then. But for now, let's just keep to the agreement that we had from last year, where everyone pays the same, and we can then start working out the details from then on. So that's kind of the ground rules. Does anyone have any questions, comments, complaints?
Oh, good. No complaints yet.
All righty.
We're doing good.
Excellent.
I was just gonna say the chat is helpful too. If you don't know, there's a chat on the bottom.
Oh,
If
yeah.
somebody wants to send messages without interrupting somebody. It's helpful.
Yeah, it's not always obvious that someone just posted a chat, but there is a chat screen. Go on. So I just posted a message to everyone. Wow. And as soon as I
Okay.
posted it, the phone rings.
This is a message.
Yep, that's what I posted. So that's what the chat looks like. There's a drop-down box. You can send it to everyone, or you could pick a particular person and send it to that particular person. So you could send a message to someone else and say, I can't believe Skip just said that. And when you do something like that, try not to do it to everyone because it becomes embarrassing then. So, it's like doing a reply all on an email at your work and saying something personal. So, or talking about your boss. So, not that I've ever done that or anything. All right, so let's move on to the road repair. There's several things going on, and I have some concerns, and I'll talk about my concerns and the potential for addressing them and how we're going to do everything else. My first concern is this road is not your normal, average, everyday dirt road. It has a lot of ledge. I mean, we're kind of sitting on top of the big hill over as you're heading down the big hill towards the lake. that's pretty much all ledge, and there's only about 2 feet of dirt, if that, which means in the spring, there's no place for the melt to go except for to make mud. And there's a few other places like that. And like where we had the tar pit that ate trucks and everything this spring, and that's another area ledge, though it's a little deeper there, but this year it's just because of the way the water was flowing, and the fact that we had cold and hot and cold and hot, it all just centered right there. So, and then we have several places that are just low and wet. We have some places with culverts to try to fix that, but they're either old or they don't work quite as well as they should. So given all that, and what we have seen is that coming in and dropping a bunch of gravel isn't going to solve the problem. It will work until the next springtime. And I mean, and that's what we saw last year. After the bulldozer went over, it was really nice. And then we got some rain, and then got cold, we got some frost, and then potholes all reappeared. So in order to actually fix particularly the worst areas, what we have to do is put stone down, put down a layer of what's called road fabric, or which is typically black fabric that keeps the dirt from going through but lets the water going in and out. And then we can put the gravel on top of it. By doing that, the stone will maintain a base and not create the potholes, because the dirt won't be getting into the stone and then turning it into mud. It'll stay stone. The problem is there's no way we can hire someone to do that, because they would really have to know the road and spend a lot of time here, and become pretty much, we'd end up paying by the hour and everything. So one thought was that we go rent some heavy equipment and do some of this road work ourselves, which is possible. If we were to do the whole road, we could do it cheaper than bringing in someone, just because our labor is free, and we can get the rock at about we can get the rock and gravel at about half the price of what people charge, because they put their markup on top of it. But we're talking a good solid 3, maybe 4 days of work. Most of it's just going to be riding around on stuff. There shouldn't be too much shoveling and that sort of thing, but there will be some spreading out fabric and stuff. The second option is we bring someone in, do the gravel, and then maybe pick one section at a time and just work that one section. In that case, the only thing we wouldn't need to rent a truck. So to do the whole road itself, we'd need to rent a dump truck, a bulldozer, and a backhoe bucket loader, and just be driving all that stuff all over the place. To do one piece at a time, we would just need to rent a backhoe bucket loader and dig out the area, have them drop stone, put down the fabric, have them drop gravel, spread it all out with the bucket loader, and we'd be done. That would be a lot cheaper. We can, schedule the time easier, one day at a time. What's that? Or someone? I think someone's talking. All right, hey, let me stop sharing for a second. All right, who's talking? All right. Yo, question? You have a question? Oh,
You know, that's what I usually do, my own stuff. But I wouldn't be able to drive a excavator or a truck, do you? Yeah, I mean,
well,
but you need to have somebody who knows the equipment.
right. So I couldn't do an excavator, but I have done bucket loaders and backhoes before. Andy has a Class A license, so he could drive all the different trucks if we were to rent trucks. I talked to several different rental companies. The rental companies will show you how to use their equipment. They don't want you, driving off into the lake somewhere. So
Andy lives at 40. He's our son-in-law, lives staying at my mom's house on 40.
yeah, and so if we were to rent a truck, they have two size trucks. The bigger truck would be better, and then we would need it because it takes a Class B license to drive that. The smaller truck only does 3 yards. Since it's under 10,000 pounds, anyone with a license can drive it. But with only 3 yards, you're going back and forth a lot. So, especially since I'm thinking, for us to really do this, it's 1,000 yards of stuff. And the quotes came back, they're not doing quite that much. They're closer to 500 to 600 yards, which means we will get a nice road, but it's not going to survive that well next spring.
So, Skip, you seem to know a little bit about roads. I happened to talk to Newmarket and Gavin last year.
Yeah.
And I actually do know some roads. So I drove by today, just asked him, and he actually gave me a name, and the guy came actually over tonight, just look at the road, and he said he has a grader, a small grader, but he said there's no way he could do the work. He said we need a really road grader to get the road in good conditions. So that's not something we could do, right? And I'm not sure if we just take it and spread it over there. We didn't get anywhere, or the gravel is just in the woods in 2 years.
Yeah, so to do a bulldozer is pretty straightforward. And doing the bucket loader is also really easy to do, but you can't do a very large space with the bucket loader because you're going to be back dragging for hours and hours, and
that's what the guy said. He said, I'm spending way too much time to do that with my small grader. You need a big grader. And then he talked about a grader, not even an excavator or something else. So.
No, right. So we would need a grader, but the problem is over the years we just graded it, and there are places where it's ground down to the bedrock, like on the first hill coming in near route number 15, and you can't. The grader isn't going to do anything there. So that's why I'm saying we need 1,000 yards of stuff, so we actually have something that in the future we can grade. If we get this road done up correctly, from then on, it would be a relatively straightforward thing for people to run a grader over it, smooth it out, and we find some areas and just bring in, a dozen yards here and there to patch up, and anything that's washed away because of, real bad weather or something we can fix. But it's that first getting it correct is the tough thing to do.
So Skip, do the two really inferior culverts on the road, would we need to address those first, or as part of this kind of a project?
Well, the culverts are a tough thing. That one you really need good use of an excavator or a backhoe. And I know I personally probably am not good enough to get it laid out correctly with a backhoe. I mean, I know the principle of how to put in a culvert and stuff, but I've never done anything bigger than about a 10-footer once in a previous driveway. So
we probably need to get them repaired before we went ahead with any other road repairs, do you think?
Especially the one down by 60. I mean,
Yeah.
that one has a lot of water flowing under it. It's the bottom of it is pretty much rusted out, which means it's now not supporting weight well. And there's a possibility that at some point in the future, a oil truck or propane truck could be going over it and break through and get stuck, and that would not be good.
Skip,
Yeah.
Tony Freeman. I've got an excavator coming either Friday or Monday to do some work for me. He's been working on my project at my house at 24. And he's a really good guy. I could ask him if he could give us a price on doing the work to replace those culverts.
That would be great. Yeah. I won't be around Monday, but I will be here Friday if he's here, and I can come in. We can talk too and point out my concerns. So, Laura, where's the second culvert you're thinking of? Is it between the two vernal ponds, or
Kind of at the top of the road, more towards what number is it?
you're talking just after Brian's house?
Yes.
In 15.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty small culvert. And if that one collapsed, we could just fill it in with stone. I'm not as concerned about that one as the one down by 60. So I think we should just focus on that. The fact that we have a fair amount of stone around it, because they changed the direction of the road, since it used to go down that driveway that now is Brian uses. That used to be the road, and when they moved the road to get it off Brian's property, or Amos's property at that time, they did a pretty good job of laying out that culvert. So it's got a pretty good base, even if the culvert's rusting away. So that's why I'm not that concerned. And I believe it's only like an 8-inch one, versus the other one I think is 16 inches, at least 12.
So we don't need it for water runoff or?
No, but that would be one of the areas where I would dig out a few places, put in stone, put the cloth over it, and then put gravel on top of that. Yeah, because that way, even if water's coming down the hill, as soon as it hits the stone, it will dissipate. And that's what we want. And there's drainage on both sides of that road, because that road's built up a little bit. And if we add 40 yards in there, which is probably about what we would need to add, it's going to be a good foot above the other stuff, so the water can easily go off to the side. So I think that would be fine. So why don't we take a look at?
I think Uta had a question.
Who did? Anyone?
I have a question. So if we were to bring all the gravel and the sand and bring it onto the road this year, would we still need to hire somebody who would be grading it after?
So if we were to do it all, then we wouldn't need to hire someone. We wouldn't need to hire someone to do the whole road. We still want to hire someone to do plowing in the winter. But that's a separate issue.
And it would still have to be dragged in the spring, right?
Yes, hopefully it wouldn't be as bad, but I think regardless of what we do this year, we're not going to get all the bad spots, and so next year we will find them. Hopefully we have fewer bad spots, and so that we can do better, and that we don't lose whole people and trucks and everything down into some bottomless pit. So, but yeah, I think we will need someone to work the roads for the next couple of years as we get it stabilized. But this is going to be the expensive year. After that, it should be a little cheaper. And unfortunately, the person who we had do our road last year. Talked a good talk, and then it never showed up. And so by the time his kind of mentors showed up, the road had already got worse for the wear, and so they were just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it, as opposed to if they had done it correctly initially, it wouldn't have gotten as bad. But because this winter was such a weird winter, we were going to have a real horrible spring, and I don't think the upcoming winter will be quite the same, just because well, I'm not going to get into the solar cycles, but the sun is changing, and that will get us back to more normal weather. At least that's my theory. How you doing?
Hey, Skip. Sorry, I was tied up.
Yeah, you get all the action items.
Well, I heard you're recording it, so I look forward to it.
Oh, guess what I forgot to start doing?